South Dakota Senator John Thune joins me. Good evening, sir. And I probably stood on a box interviewing you because you're so much taller than I am.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me, Greta.
Yeah, I know.
You may be
anyway.
You're short, but you always make a powerful appearance and presence. So.
Yeah, well, you're very kind. All right, tonight, what does the president have to do? He's your candidate, the former president, to distinguish himself on the debate stage.
I think really just prosecute the case against his opponent. Vice President Harris has been running away from her record since she got into and entered this campaign, and she's not been challenged on it because she hasn't done any interviews. She did one interview, and so she's flip-flopped on literally every position, whether that's her, she said she was going to ban fracking, now she says she won't. She said that building a wall was un-American and unnecessary, and now she's changed her tune on that. She was, for gun confiscation. She was for EV mandates. She was for expanding the Supreme Court. I mean, she was even against plastic straws, and she's changed her position on that, Greta. So if you look at all the flip-flops that she's had just in the course of the time that she's been running this campaign, there is a lot to work with. But the President Trump, needs to stay focused on those issues and draw on those contrasts. Elections are about differences. The differences couldn't be more stark in this election. And if he can stay focused on the issues, he's going to have a good night.
I think it is a heavy lift for her, a challenge, because not only that, she's got to embrace the last 4 years or 3.5 years. She can't pretend like they didn't exist. So she's got her prior statements. She wants to move towards the center to get the independents and the undecideds. And she's got that problem. And the way she has justified the fact that she's changed her position, she says that her values are the same. But values is going to, values is not what we're talking about. We're talking about what are your policies and what do you intend to do. So I think she's got a heavy lift tonight, but I don't know how much she's going to get challenged on it by these anchors. But I assume that they're going to ask those questions because they're pretty obvious.
Well, they are, and what Vice President Harris has proved, and you pointed out, she says her values haven't changed. Well, obviously her values must be pretty versatile because she keeps changing, flip-flopping her positions on these issues. And I think in the end she's going to govern, if she's elected, like they have for the past 4 years. If you want to look at what Harris administration might look at the last 4 years, where you got 20% inflation, groceries up 21%, energy up 40%, 10 million illegals coming across the southern border, and it costs people $13,000 more per year just to keep up with their cost of living. $13,000 more than it did when President Biden and Kamala Harris took office. So that is their record. She needs to own that, and it's their policies that contributed to it, and you're going to get more of the same if you get a Harris administration. And I think that's the point that the President Trump is going to have to make, irrespective of whether the moderators give him that opportunity. And they may throw her softballs, but I think he's got to prosecute that case. He's got to make the argument about why this election is about the differences. It is a clear choice for the American people. These are two completely different records, completely different positions, and completely different visions for the future when it comes to the race for the presidency.
To coin a phrase from a prior candidate for president, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, she said it takes a village. Based on that, I would really like to see both candidates, not tonight, but in the next 2 weeks, to tell us who they would like to see in their cabinet. I mean, really lay out the Attorney General, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Treasury, because this is a very important time, and the president's not going to act alone. So, would you be in favor of encouraging both of them? Lay out who you would want in your cabinet, so that the American people have a little better idea of going forward.
I think that's a great idea, Greta, and I think they ought to talk about, you can judge people by who they associate with and who they would put in positions of power. I think the one thing that we know about Kamala Harris is she is an extreme left ideologue. She is a San Francisco liberal, and I would expect her to populate her cabinet and her administration with people who share those far left views. And you're going to get far left policies which will be disastrous for this country. We've already seen a good example of that with a wide open southern border. I mean, this is an administration that basically what they're known for is high prices and open borders. And if you're a voter in this country, most people are pocketbook voters. They care about kitchen table issues. There's going to be a clear choice. And I think that forcing them to talk about who they would put in key positions, like Department of Energy, for example. What are we going to do on energy policy? You'll get a clear understanding of what her and her administration would be like, and I think it would give President Trump an opportunity, obviously, to contrast the type of people he would surround himself with and the way that he would lead the country and the issues that he would highlight. Of course, like I said, one of which is the border, one of which is energy, one of which is spending and debt.
He's got to get the women vote. I mean, that, and look, it's no secret that he's rude. He has said a lot of things that has offended a lot of women. And so, I've heard a lot of Republican women say that either they won't vote for him, or if they will vote for him, they're going to hold their nose and vote for him. Tonight, how important is him to act a little bit, to keep his manners in a little bit, or is that just going to be someone, that would be just a person on the podium that maybe people won't recognize?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, again, if he stays focused on the issues, he's playing the winning hand. He's going to win that argument. I think what he can't do is allow her to try and bait him into getting, into personal back and forth attacks, that sort of thing. And clearly, I think that's going to be part of her strategy. And I think he shouldn't take the bait. He's got to be, obviously calm, resolute, steady, and just continue to prosecute the case on the issues. If he does that, he's going to win the debate. He's going to win the election because, as you point out, a lot of people across this country, including women voters, they care about the economy. They care about inflation. They care about the cost of gas and the cost of groceries, and they care about safety and security in their communities, much of which has been worse by the fact that we have a wide open southern border. Those stories continue to proliferate out there about people who come across the southern border illegally and are making the country less safe by committing crimes in what used to be safe neighborhoods. I think these are all issues that help him win. Not only women voters, but I would say independent voters and people who are kind of in the middle, maybe are what you would call low propensity voters, but are starting to pay attention. I think those are the issues that win them over.
Senator John Thune from the great state of South Dakota. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.